What is your accidentally caught your spouse cheating horror story? Not me, but a medical resident who I met on rotation recently. One of the nicest guy I ever met, super intelligent and hardworking, and training to be a trauma surgeon by humble as they come. He had been married for 2 years to his wife. One night he gets off a 30-hour call early and heads home to surprise his wife with some flowers and her favorite dessert. It was the anniversary of the day they first met, only to find her in bed with a random dude. He was so exhausted and confused, he didn't know what to do and just left and went back to the hospital. I saw him at 5 AM, sitting in the parking lot, hunched over crying. He didn't even have his phone with him, he was just sitting there. Man, nothing breaks your heart more than seeing a grown man cry. It's not something you see often. We called his dad up, and he came and picked him up. The guy ended up taking a leave from his residency. Turns out, it wasn't the wife's first time sleeping around. Hope he gets back on his feet. He will make an amazing physician. Surprise her with flowers and her favorite dessert. Why do awful people always take advantage of the sweetest ones? I hope that dude finds a woman who appreciates his thoughtfulness. She was married to a future doctor who also did stuff like this for her. What a freaking idiot that wife is. Not trying to justify her cheating in any way, but doctors have to work long/unpredictable hours and some people just aren't cut out to make their relationship work around that. Would have been better for her to be honest about that and either work on it or end the relationship than to cheat. Obviously, doctors should stop trying their best to save people's lives if they want their loved ones to not cheat. I just got off work after working the graveyard shift. I walk into my apartment with my fiancée sleeping with some guy she met at a party on my futon which they broke. I walked out with so much rage and broken feelings. I went to my car and cried. The broken futon makes this so much worse. I assumed that's what he was crying about. It made mattress worse. Geez, did they at least stop? Sounds like they kept going, which makes it even worse. For a moment to make eye contact. I didn't say anything. I just left. I had just got off an 8-hour overnight shift. It looked like she had been sleeping with him for a while. The text/calls came flooding in which I didn't answer. This all happened over 13 years ago, and while I can barely remember what they looked like going at it, but I'll never forget how fricked up the futon was. Bonus excuse, I just remembered, on one of the voicemails, she claimed she was still thinking of me, which is why they were on the futon and not on the bed. Which, I can wash sheets, I can't unbend metal. Came home early. They were fast enough to get dressed, but not in a natural state of being, if that makes sense. It was obvious something was just going down. Very cliched, got walked in on, and tried to play it cool, like you see in TV. I asked him to leave and he did. We argued. She tried to lie, but soon confessed. It wasn't the first time she cheated, but it was the first time that I caught her in the act. Everything in the past was just texts and stuff. She said that she never slept with the other people, and it was just pics and flirting. In retrospect, that may not be bullcrap. We divorced, both remarried. Not friends by any stretch, but civil. Emotional cheating in this day and age is the same. Word. It sucks. Micro cheating online or over text is accepted in way too many social circles. So happy I ran. Actually dragged myself out when my ex defended talking to crushes and kind of encouraged her friends, some married, to keep chatting with workplace crushes. Friend. I like him, but nothing's gonna happen. We just talk. Ex. We don't live long enough to not get to know awesome people. Don't worry. In a weird way I'd find that worse. If my husband slept with another woman I'd be devastated. But if he fell in love with someone else, man, that'd destroy me. Girlfriend ran over her phone by accident and destroyed the screen. Asked me to back up all her stuff and transfer it to her new Pixel. Use backup tool that captures all sorts of dirty messages and nudes with another guy. Either she's stupid or she wanted to get caught. Well, she ran over her phone. This kind of outing cheater seems very common these days. Had an acquaintance, serial cheater. She was outed by her husband because her WhatsApp was mirrored on their common laptop. She was apparently texting her paramour right next to him as they were in bed. Turns out that the guy was working on the laptop and saw the whole gory thing in real time, screenshots and all. He dumped the whole thing on Facebook, tagged her sister and all that. Their Facebook pages was a minor drama for days on end. She also once got a hickey on her neck from another paramour and then burnt her neck using a hair iron to cover it up. How do I know? She called my wife at 3:30 AM asking if she could borrow my wife's hair iron. Edit. They are still together. The guy is a 4 out of 10 at best and is a decade older to the chick, who is a straight 7 on a bad day. She was a bona fide model and a TV show host on a major network channel. Guy is also super loaded and they have 3 kids, so I guess they just put up with it. Also it was an arranged marriage scenario. Could have just used makeup, jeez. We had a linked Apple account. We both had the Find My iPhone app. Figured out what all the late nights at work really were. I work for a major cell phone carrier, and the amount of times people come in asking to get their Apple ID unlinked because they saw something they didn't want to see, from a sibling or kid usually, is honestly hilarious. My favorite one was about a year ago and was thankfully PG, so I can tell customers all the time as a reason to not share an Apple ID with your kids. Seriously, set up a custodial account or an Apple ID family so you guys can still share apps or whatever. Anyway, a dad comes in and says, "Please, you have to help me. Me and my 16-year-old daughter's phones are connected somehow and her boyfriend keeps FaceTiming me. I'm afraid that I'm going to answer by accident and he won't be wearing a shirt, or worse. Happened to me back in high school. My family had a shared account and somehow when I got a new iPhone, FaceTime would go through to my dad's phone. Felt bad for my friends who would FaceTime my dad past 10 PM when he's sleeping and grumpy. Back in the day, my brother was borrowing my dad's cell phone, 1999, and his girlfriend left him a dirty message, not knowing my brother didn't get the voicemail pin. So my dad gets the sexy message, which was apparently very sexy. My dad keeps talking about it almost 20 years later. One of my former co-workers loaded in an SD card with a scanned project file on it. He put it into the conference room PC, and we were treated to naked pictures of his wife sleeping with another guy. We were just stunned. This was in a senior budgetary meeting with the outside accountants and auditors, and he was sitting right there, and we were looking at his wife and another guy going at it. I reached over and shut the projector off. Nobody said anything. He got up and walked out and drove off in his car, left his phone and laptop sitting on the table. He wound up driving to his parents' house 3 states away. He was gone for a week. Jeez, that's crazy. Was the company cool and let him keep his job while being gone for a week? Yeah, he had vacation and flex time and all that. It was not a big deal. He was a production scheduler and he was there to answer questions, but we got by without him. At least the company doesn't penalize him for that. The funniest thing about it is that the owner's wife, he was out after surgery, breezed in about 5 minutes later. She's the one who told us all that he was out puking in the parking lot. After the meeting was over, the GM had to break it to her what had happened. She was horrified. He could have taken a month off. What a crap show. Glad the company could see past the fact he's an employee to the fact he's a person. Not my relationship, but my boyfriend's mom took me out to lunch to get to know me better. We really kicked it off and had a great lunch. She had to run home because she forgot to grab a gift for a shower we had to attend after, and we found her husband ducking the neighbor on the couch. She was mortified and never the same around me again. Her son and I split because of that. He didn't think his dad was wrong because his mom gained weight. As in, she was now 140 pounds, 5 foot 6 inches, and not 120 pounds, so I never found out what happened. I mean, your ex didn't think his dad was wrong for cheating? Yeah, thank frick you broke up, or I don't think that would have ended well in the future. Yeah, I would have to fight my dad if he did that to my mama. I mean, I wouldn't have fought him, but I'd probably not talk to him half as much as I do now, and I definitely wouldn't be on his side. What do you expect? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If the dad thinks gaining a little weight is grounds to cheat, I'm not even remotely surprised his crappy son thinks the same thing. Yeah, it's sad to see sometimes people are so much like their parents, even when their parents suck. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Don't forget to leave your stories in the comments below.